4-H camp is a blast.
I think 4-H camp is cool.
The most awesome experience of your life.
4-H camp is awesome and really fun.
While at camp, you'll take an educational journey participating in hands-on tracks like science, engineering, and technology, water safety, outdoor skills, nutrition, and much, much more.
I think it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in my whole entire life.
4-H camp is life-changing.
So 4-H camp is an amazing, one-of-a-kind experience that you'll definitely want to have.
4-H camp is awesome.
In today's activity, we're looking at part 2 of our tower building series. Previously, we built a basketball tower using newspaper and masking tape and unlimited resources. In today's activity, we're building a tennis ball tower. A tower that will support the weight of a tennis ball, but using limited resources. Now, in the basketball tower activity, we used those unlimited amount of resources, and it was a freestanding, self-supporting tower. In this activity, we're going to introduce something new, some guy wires. Now, in a real tower, you may have noticed guy wires that are these long cables that attach to the tower at various points, and they run diagonally and are attached to the ground. And those are around the towers at different points, and they allow your tower to be built really tall but held very stable. So in our activity today, we're going to use string as our guy wires to support our tower. Now, before we get started, you should have your activity sheets already. And if you will go ahead and pause the video, read through the quick explanation section, and answer your pre-activity questions. When you're finished with those, go ahead and hit play, and we'll keep going. Right. Now that you're done answering your pre-activity questions, let's take a look at the materials that we need for this activity. Okay. Now, you have this list of materials on your third page of your activity sheet, so follow along, check out the materials there as well. So you should have 4 bendable or flexible straws. You should have 8 popsicle or craft sticks, 4 little blue coffee stir sticks, these are plastic, some string, masking tape, tennis ball tower after all, and a ruler and a pair of scissors. Okay? You could also, of course, use a tape measure or a meter stick. Alright, now that we've taken a look at our materials, let's go ahead and move on to the directions on page 3 of the activity sheet. So the objective here is to build a tower that will support and hold a tennis ball using only the materials that we've already gone over. Now, in just a moment, you'll take some time to sketch out your idea, but before we do that, I want to go over some guidelines with you. For this activity, you have to use only these materials, and you have to use all of the materials in some way. Now, the materials do not have to be a functioning part of the tower. So in other words, they can be used as decoration. But by the end of the building process, they have to be attached or on the tower in some way. You should use at least some of your string as guy wire, attaching the tower to the table. The tower itself can be any height, but the bottom of the tennis ball has to be at least 4 inches above the table. You cannot puncture the tennis ball, but you are allowed to tape it or tie it to the tower. the tower itself can be attached to the table with tape, okay? Given that you have enough left over. Now that we've covered those guidelines, go ahead and pause the video and sketch out your ideas for your tower on step 2 of your activity sheet. After you're done with your sketch, hit play and we'll continue. All right, now that you've sketched out your ideas for your tower, let's go ahead and take a look at one that I've built already. So this one uses most of the materials that were in our list. Okay, you can see the basic structure of it. Okay, we've got our guy wires here attached on either side. Okay, we've got our cross supports, kind of like we did with the basketball tower. Okay. So what we want to do is finish off on the table and place our tennis ball and see if it works. All right, so what I want to do is first attach the guy wires to the table. And again, we just want to tape it down and make sure that the wires or the strings tight. Okay. I'm actually going to tape down one of the feet on the tower itself first so that it'll stay a little steadier. And then I'll use some of the rest of my tape to finish securing the tower to the table. Now remember, we have to use all of the materials. So if you run out, it's worse than having extra. All right, so this is the last of my tape. And I'm just going to use it to finish the bottoms here. Okay, so we can see now that the tower is very sturdy. Okay, got a little bit of tape left over. I have a little bit of string left over, which I will just use to attach to the tower itself. Again, doesn't all have to be functional, but it's got to be on there. Okay, so everything's used now. So now's the test. Okay? We want to see if our tennis ball is held up by our tower. Okay? Here we go. All right, so we see that the tower supports the tennis ball. It's very stable. It's not moving in any direction, okay, not leaning. The strings support it. Okay? It's secured with the tape. Now, the next thing we need to do is measure from the bottom of the tennis ball. It has to be 4 inches off the table. So this one is 5 inches off of the table. So that's going to be the mark to beat. Go ahead and pause the video now and build your tower and see what happens with your structure. Remember, make sure to use all of your materials, okay, and no extra materials. After you're finished, hit play and we'll come back and finish up. Okay, so now that you've finished answering your questions and you've looked at all the results from your tower, okay, we got a couple more things before we go. Just a reminder that now that you know the basics, we want to take this a step further. Okay? Try a different design. Try different materials now. Maybe more materials or less materials. Okay? There are a lot of different ways that you can do it. Remember that in the quick explanation section of your activity sheet, you have some website resources, some links that you can check out for other design ideas and other challenges for this. So take a look at those when you can. Also, remember to take pictures of your tower. Okay? Post those in the comment section. Let us know, how tall was your tower? Okay? Any other comments that you might have, add those down there. And finally, before we go, be sure to check out the link to our virtual program website. That's in the description below. Stay tuned for the next virtual set activity. That'll be coming soon. We'll see you then.